What is going on, everybody, and welcome back to another Ross Reviews, where today we are driving something extremely special. This is a 1992 original Honda NSX, and my goodness, does this car just look absolutely amazing. It is so 90s, this thing. And of course, the very best thing about this car is the pop-up headlights. Yep, they pop right up, and oh my goodness, you see them up there over atop the bonnet here, and yeah, they are just such a cool, very cool feature. And you know, it is a testament to this car. Just the handling of this thing is what it is all about. This, of course, has got a V6 VTEC engine here, so you know it's definitely something different from Honda. Made about 252 horsepower and about 210 pound-foot of torque for the automatic versions. Yes, this is an automatic, sad face. But a lot of these NSXs were actually automatics, because back in the 90s, that was a big luxury to have an automatic. So, you know, quite a few of these cars were done in the 4-speed auto here, which really is quite a terrible thing, because it really does drain the life out of this car. If you had to go on for the 5-speed manual, which you really would want to get, those come out with about 270 horsepower, and they also had a little bit less of the luxury stuff here, so they didn't get any electrically you know, assisted steering like this one has. You know, they were really a lot more true of a race car. But I do have to say, even with this steering, you know, being electronically assisted here, it's quite interesting. It really is. Now, when you're going around in the car park, or just right now, you know, you're on straight, you move the wheel, it's effortless. It really is. When you get into a corner like now, wow, there is some feedback here. You know, the wheel really does stiffen up. And it's actually really kind of puzzling how much the wheel stiffens up here. And, you know, you come into this corner again, this is a nice tight corner here, and it really does kind of feel like, you know, there isn't anything assisting you. But I gotta say, you know, it really is nice, and you feel a lot of stuff. You do feel very connected to this car. So, you know, you can feel the wheels, what they're doing, you can feel the front end. A lot of sensations are played through the steering wheel and through the seat. Wow. Double wishbone suspension all round in this thing, and the handling is the strong suit. It really is. Wow. You can feel it just a little bit on the edge there, but my goodness. Put yourself back, you know, almost 30 years ago, and this car is very impressive. It really, really is. Now, these cars were launched back in 1990, so yeah, this car is as old as I am. And you know, they finished up production in 2005. Partway through that journey, which was very long, you know, that was a long time to be in production. They did have a few upgrades and you know, a few different options that were available throughout the years there. So from, I believe, around the 2002 mark to 2005, they ditched the pop-up headlights. Around 1996 or 7, they introduced a larger 3.2 liter V6. This, of course, is a 3-liter. And also, I think in '94, they introduced a kind of convertible targa top model, which I am very much wishing we had today, because it is very hot in here, and we can't even, unfortunately, put the windows down because that will mess up a lot of our audio. Now, since Honda was so well connected as well with F1, they had a very, very famous F1 driver by the name of Senna to help develop this car. So basically, they got Senna to hop in the driver's seat, do a few laps while he was F1 training, and get the feedback from him. And what he basically said on the initial take was, it's crap, and it's too soft. Honda engineers went back to the drawing board, re-engineered this car, completely went all over this thing, suspension, the frame, the body, and they got it over 50% more rigid than it was previously. And that really is where the NSX here gains all of that love and that speed, is from having such a great handling body here. A huge benefit with this car is that basically the entire frame, the entire body here is made of aluminium, and that was meant to have shed approximately like 200 kilos off this car. And it is not a heavy car. It's very big when you see it in person, but the thing weighs around 1,300 kilos. And if you had the manual version, they drop a few luxuries, you're gonna drop about another 70 kilos. I had a little bit of a trouble finding the price. I know in America, the Acura was claimed at about $61,000 US back in 1990, which that was a lot of money back then. Here in Australia, I had a look on a website called Redbook. It's usually quite reputable. They said that this was from new here in Australia, 170K. And that is an absolutely mind-blowing figure. If anyone can confirm that figure, I would really appreciate it in the comments, because 170K is hard to believe back then. But it was probably a car that could have claimed that, though, to be perfectly honest, because I do know the RX-7 FD was around the $100,000+ mark, so I wouldn't be surprised. Now, on the used market, an automatic version like this, an earlier one, you're going to be looking around $100,000, though I have seen them go up as high as around 150K. Now, this is where, if you had a manual, you hit the lotto, because the manuals is where the real big money is. And if you have a clean, earlier model one as well, they seem to be liking the Series 1 versions here. And if you have a manual, very clean, $200,000 is what they're going for right now here in Australia, which is absolutely mental. It is so freaking hot in this car right now, guys. But let's do the sound test here so we can get the windows down a bit. So I'm gonna run it through the gears here. So go through first, second, and third. And here we go. Oh, it is not the most beautifully sounding car out there. That is 100% for sure. Though I will say, you do get a nice VTEC noise out of this engine. Now this revs out to about 7,600 RPM. Now if you had the manual, that would have gone to nearly 8,000 RPM. So, it likes to rev, and it is a lot of fun to take it there. It really is. This is meant to be the practical supercar. It really is. And do not kid yourself, this is a proper supercar. It really is. You look at this thing, you drive it, you sit in it. We are sitting right on the road here. Like, this is as low of a vehicle I've ever sat in, and I'm being dead honest with you. You know, this is a absolutely supercar pass here, and the speed might not be there, but let's go back 30 years, and you know, this was a proper supercar that was competing with the Ferrari. And again, you know, you turn the key on, you drive this car, you know, you've got your Honda logo here, Honda, you know, radio system here. You know, there is not a lot that goes wrong with this thing, you know, and I've been playing around with everything in here, and basically the only thing I can find that's making an issue is the air conditioning needs a regas, and the passenger side window is going up a little bit slow. But let's, you know, put that in perspective. A 30-year-old supercar that basically everything still works, drives really nicely, still turns heads like you wouldn't believe, and you know, it just works every time you turn the key. And let me tell you, if we had bought a Lamborghini or a Ferrari from this era, man, we'd be lucky to get 2Ks down the road. It's such a cool design, this car. You know, when you look at it, it really is that futuristic style. You know, you've got that long bonnet, the pop-up headlights. You know, you've got this kind of bubble in the middle of this car that houses the driver and the engine. And then even at the back, it's just so cool. You have that very long rear end, and that actually becomes your trunk. Watch out, lizard. So that actually becomes your trunk. So, you know, you've got actually quite a bit of space there. You know, you can actually take this out for a weekend and, you know, have a couple of bags in there. You know, you really could. And, you know, I would be quite happy to say you could fit 1 to 2 golf bags in this car. I think you really could do that. Now, 0 to 100. Just pulling up on this back road. There is no sport mode or anything, unfortunately, with this car. So I've turned the traction control off to give it as much as we can. I'm gonna run it through the gears, so we will build the power a little bit and then let it go. So 3, 2, 1. 100. Oh my goodness. Yeah, look, it's not the quickest thing out there. Now, 0 to 100 was claimed at around 6 seconds. I will bet my life that was for the manual, because I don't think we're going to be at 6 seconds with this. It wasn't terrible, I guess. You know, you got to put it in perspective of what it is. You know, it's a 30-year-old car. It's got a V6, you know, naturally aspirated. But, you know, when you start rolling onto it and just picking it up, it really does start to give you a lot of motion blur with the rest of the scenery here, because, you know, it does actually pick up once you flat foot this car. It really does. Wow. Now I'm gonna finish the video off here today, so a huge thank you, oh yeah, goes out to Vans West for allowing me to take out their Honda NSX here. This is actually for sale, so if anyone is interested, wants to grab a piece of history, a link will be in the description. Also have to do a huge thank you to GripShift Media for helping with the shoot today. They filmed that nice cinematic intro and a few of the B-roll shots here today, so they're doing some great things. A link for them will be in the description as well. So I hope you guys enjoyed this original NSX as much as I did, because yeah, wow, this is a proper 90s supercar, and it is a lot of fun. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If so, please remember to hit that like button. Consider subscribing if you're new here, and we'll see you on that next video.